What's up YouTube? Dual Stacks here. We're going to be covering my Scizor GX deck, and I'll explain all my little reasons as to why I built it the way I have. This is a more conservative, consistent deck build, so to really kind of go up to against anything. Right off the bat, for now, how the early testing goes, I'm going to be running 4 Scizor. The reason I'm running 4 Scizor is you want to consistently get this out, you're running Scizor GX. So for the team play, if you occasionally use its attack, it's got 70 HP, that's a nice long-lasting attack. So you can do 2 more Scizors from your deck, put them on your bench. It's kind of like when you were setting up with Greninja Break. So there's that. You might not use agility, but if you do, you could potentially have it protected for a turn. So other than that, 4 Scizors is what we're going to be running to start things off. I can't decide whether or not to do 3 or 4, but for now, we're doing 4 Scizor GX. Why are we doing 4? Well, you want to consistently get this out. It's your main primary hitter. Of course, it has a great ability, so if its HP is 100 or less, it's going to do 80 more damage. You're already going to see why it's conservative, but doing 80 damage for just a steal and a colorless, and preventing 30 more damage done to it next turn, and having nice resistance, Psychic's going to have a nice time having to try to get over this, so have fun getting over it. Other than that too, its GX is not bad, already doing 100 base, and then if it's evolved basic that you got going on against from your opponent, their evolution Pokemon's taking another 100, so 200 damage to an evolution, not bad. So, like in rocks, you're definitely going to just one-punch them. So, 4 of those. Next up, to do a little bit of spread of damage, we're doing 2 of the Tapu Koko promos. For Flying Flip, 20 to all Pokemon, unless they're using that new stadium that came out in the set where you're essentially having you and your opponent protected. The Rayquaza Stadium card, whatever it's called right now, I've lost track of the thought of the name, but unless they're running that, you're going to have an easy time just softening up your opponent's Pokemon and then finishing them off with like Scizor or something else. Then as the one-ofs of each, I'm running 1 of the Duskmane Necrozma and a Registeel. Registeel for the Turbo Arm, 30 damage is not bad, plus attaching another energy, so if you need to kind of recover, the Registeel's there for that. Duskmane for 1 steal, you're doing 60 any EX or GX, and that's unaffected by weakness and resistance. That's pretty good. Plus having 130 both ends, always a good thing to have. A little bit extra health. 130 makes a huge difference. One of my favorite GX at least. Kartana. Slice off to have an enhanced hammer ability. It's searchable, that's pretty good. Gale Blade if you occasionally use it, or Blade GX. 1 steal, you take a prize. What can be wrong with that? Have you noticed so far as well, the way I'm running this deck, a lot of these things are all 1 retreat to none. Yes, there's a few here, but we run things that get over that problem. And the last Pokemon, 1 Tapu Lele for the Wonder Tag, search for a supporter, occasionally use Energy Drive, but that's about it there. So that's the Pokemon line. Pretty straightforward. Stadiums are running 2 Mountain Monokilus, making your opponent have an extra retreat if they're basic Pokemon, so it makes those basics a little bit harder if they have to hardcore retreat instead of like something else. So, makes them waste their Guzmas and Tate and Weezes much quicker. 2 Mount Coronet to retrieve your lost energy. Not that you're purposely putting it in the discard, but it's a nice retrieval, and it's a Stadium War you want to fight, it's a Stadium War you'll win. It's always good to have 4 of. Ultra Ball. Search for deck for a Pokemon by discarding 2 cards. What's wrong with that? 2 Escape Ropes. See what your opponent wants to ring forward. Maybe you'll knock it out. If not, then they're going to have to sit with something for a while, but nonetheless, you're eventually going to get what you want forward, so easy outs. I said I'm playing more conservatively, so 3 Frying Pans. That's an extra 30 reduction, so if you manage to do your attack, that's minus 60 damage, plus resistance. So if you're going against Psychic, Psychic has to do more than 80 damage, or they're just basically not touching you. So Metal Frying Pan is a good win card, I think, for the conservative build. And then in case you want to do a little bit more damage, nothing wrong with 2 Choice Bands. 30 extra damage to EX and GX, so it's not situational, but it comes in handy time to time if you want to run it. If not, it's just good Ultra Ball fodder. Until it rotates, we got 2 Field Blowers, getting rid of any Stadium and or tools, depending on what you'd like to select. For a little bit of kind of consistency in getting to the cards you do need if you can't find them, 2 Acrobikes. Look at top 2, pick 1, put them in your hand, the other one go into the discard pile. And then the one-ofs of each, you got 1 Rescue Stretcher and then 1 Energy Recycle System. Both just have the same effect. Either you're adding 1 energy and 1 Pokemon from the discard to hand, or you find 3 Pokemon or 3 energy, put them in your deck. So it's great recycled fodder. Onto the support line. 2 Cynthia, you don't need to consistently get all these massive hands. You can work through that. All you really need to do is evolve and kind of hit. Conserve your plays. You don't need to constantly shuffle and get 6, so 2 Cynthia is the right man to play that. Another 2 we're playing of is Acerola. If you're about to get knocked out, just put it back, put an energy on, wait next turn. Your opponent's purposely setting you up for even more damage, so high risk, high reward on their part. Otherwise, you can play Acerola, get a supporter you want, or rather Tapu Lele, and then once they damage it by Guzmaning it forward or something, you can Acerola, get something else, and just stall the game out that way. Speaking of, I think it's a good magic number. 3 of your boy Guzma. If you're picking something you want to pull forward to knock out or just chip damage, really good stuff, so 3 Guzma. Love this card, finally a lot of people are realizing it's good too. Tate and Lisa. It's either a Shauna or a Switch. For what we have in the supporter lines, this is not bad. It's an alternative to Guzma if you want to bring something personally out of the active to use something else, or if you just need to shuffle for 5, so that's why we're saying Shauna. Even though shuffling for 5 is a little better in some cases than 6, just consider running it. I promise it's good for you all. A lot of people love still doing Zoroark, so Copycat. Especially when the unknowns come out. Your opponent's getting all these things set up, you best know I'm going to tech in 1 unknown, because what's going to happen is they're going to get all these full hands. You can play Copycat, line yourself up, get all these options, or just play an unknown for the win. And then the last supporter, 1 Lily, because why not? If you first turn in and you don't have much of a setup, getting 8 cards is a great combo. Then for the energy here, I'm running 8 Steel Energy. I think 8's the right number in this case. I considered 9, but 8 seems to be a good number. 8 Steel, and then 4 DCE for like the Energy Drive or a Kartana. But that's the whole Pokemon line, supporter, item, and energy lines. Tell me what you all think in the comments down below. If you like the video, of course, like it. If you have any other comments you'd like to add in, feel free to do so. But I appreciate y'all watching, and until the next one, peace.